Hello, everyone, and welcome to And There You Go, a podcast about life. I'm Chad, and with me today is my co-host, Addie. Hi, Addie.
Hey, Chad.
How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good for an afternoon of rain and thunderstorms, but other than that, doing great.
But you love rain and thunderstorms, right?
I do. I'm kind of a rain kind of a guy. I don't want to say I'm melancholy, but I love the feel of the weather and how I feel when it's kind of rainy and thunderstorm out. I love, the natural aspect of a storm. There was a quote from a book that I read. This guy was sitting in a castle and there was a storm approaching, and he just sat back in front of his fire and he was listening to the storm. And the line was, he sat back savoring the fundamental forces of nature.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I like that. So I like to see nature in action. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, but I have one more question on that.
Okay.
I know people who say that they love the thunderstorms because of the lightning especially, that they feel like they're actually getting energy in their own bodies from the lightning. Do you feel that way?
That's interesting, but no.
Oh, okay.
I get energy from the storm, the activity, but not necessarily from the lightning. And I never really thought about getting energy from it. But I suppose I do, because I do enjoy it. And I feel energized watching it and being a part of it. But I never thought about receiving energy, like a battery recharging. I've never really thought about it like that.
My own kids have talked about that.
Really?
They both like storms. And they've talked about that, about how it almost energizes them, or it does.
Yeah.
So this is our first podcast.
Yes.
And
we're
exciting.
Excited. It is, yeah. We're very excited. We're kind of just making it up as we go along here. So we'll see where this takes us. But that's kind of the point, right, of this podcast.
It is, because we're podcast exploring all things life. So it's the good and the bad and the funny, and we share things that we've learned in life. We talk about love, losses, triumphs, failures, and hopefully there's going to be witty banter, because we do that pretty well together.
Much jocularity.
Well said. We're doing deep dives into topics as well.
Yep.
Because we've had a lot of life experiences, many good experiences, but like everybody else, there's difficult experiences too.
Well, exactly. And I think that's a big part of this podcast, is that we're not necessarily out to teach people things that, that they might not know. I mean, that'll happen just by the natural course of this. But part of this is we really want to share our experiences and our learnings so that other people don't feel alone in some of their experiences and their current situations. Right. And that's a part of this podcast. It's certainly going to be a part of it. We're also going to, like you said, we're going to look at funny things. We're going to look at interesting things. We're going to look at very serious things, just all types of things that people talk about every day. And we do have a perspective on things because of our past experiences, and we want to share that with others, because we both believe that one of the best things that we can do based on what we've been through and what we've learned is to be able to share that with others.
Right.
I mean, you're a teacher by trade, and so you're naturally sharing knowledge with other people. And I've spent time working with others. So one of the things that listeners will get to know about me is that I'm alcoholic, and I've been sober for a little more than 7 years at this point in time, which feels great. But I also spent a lot of time after I went through treatment helping others and showing them, how they can kind of go through the process themselves, but really helping them by sharing my story. And so that's what we're going to do as well. We're going to share our stories with the hopes that maybe somebody will get something out of it, if at the very least they don't feel alone in what they're going through. And we're also going to try to have some laughter, because we both believe that laughter is a huge part of life.
It's a huge part of healing from some of the things that we go through that aren't that great.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've been a victim of domestic violence a number of different times.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've talked quite a bit about to people and
Mm-hmm.
in trauma groups and things like that, because I feel so strongly that the people before me helped me by
Mm-hmm.
sharing their stories. So now I'm sharing mine, because if you can be somebody else's survival guide,
Mm-hmm.
how much better can it get than that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I had that same experience when I went through treatment. That one of the things that really caught my attention when I went into treatment, because I was scared,
Mm-hmm.
uh, was
Of course.
well, yeah, because I didn't know what was going to happen to me, and all of that, and we'll get into that in more detail. But I realized, much as you did, that the other people there, with their stories and what they told, made me feel like, okay, maybe I'm not nuts. Maybe I'm like other people, and maybe there's something here that can help me too. So we'll as we progress through the episodes, we'll talk more about our individual stories and what we've learned from that, and really look at different topics and apply what we've learned. And
Yeah. And I have been involved in experiencing addiction in a different kind of way than you as well,
yes,
because I've had people that I love who've struggled through that, or, people that I know. And, and so I've just experienced it in a really different way than you,
yes.
but the combined experiences are very helpful.
Well, and I think that's something really interesting that we found out as we met and got to know each other. And I don't know if we said it yet or not, but we're an actual couple.
Mm-hmm.
We're together. We're in a committed relationship, and to have people on the two sides of the same coin, i.e., addiction, is really an interesting dynamic. We have some really great conversations, and I think we've got a lot to share around that. So future episodes, we'll make sure that we talk about some of that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And then along with those topics, there would certainly be depression,
Mm-hmm.
which is another topic, or anxiety. We've experienced infidelities,
Mm-hmm.
and we've also discovered together as a couple, and we probably knew it even before that, but just didn't know how it was defined. But we're empaths.
Yeah.
We're people that feel very deeply, and we can walk into a room and feel what the vibe is.
Mm-hmm.
We can tell who's getting along and who isn't. And I mean, sometimes feeling everybody else's feelings can be difficult.
Yeah, and when we say empaths, we're not necessarily talking about like psychics or the woo-woo stuff that
No.
some people would ascribe to the word empath. Empath means really being empathetic and really being able to put yourself in the shoes of the other person and understand what they're feeling. And I think because of some of the things that we've been through in our lives, we've gotten very good at reading cues from other people, nonverbals, different phrasings of things. And so we're a bit more attuned to that. And I know that there's a lot of empathic people out there too. I've met many of them.
Yeah, I have too, but I just read today that only about 15% of the population are empaths.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was too.
Mm-hmm.
I would have guessed more,
Yeah.
honestly, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're kind of a small group.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
So at any rate, we use that when we work with others, and we're going to use that as we go through this show. We'll maybe have guests and we'll chat with them, and
We're going to keep discovering who we really are
I like
through
that.
this podcast, and maybe we'll help other people to discover who they are too.
I like that. I think that right from the get-go, from when we met, the conversations that we've had, I've learned so much from you in hearing your story and
Likewise.
having those conversations. And you'll ask me questions that I don't know that anybody else has ever asked, but they're really good questions, and they're cause for introspection a lot of times. And I really thoroughly enjoy that. And I think, those conversations were the precursor, were the genesis, were the impetus for this podcast, that our conversations just naturally flowed about many different things.
Yes, I've never experienced that before, not to this level.
Well, and what cracks me up is that we will watch movies or a TV series, and often we'll get maybe 3 minutes into it, and Addie will go, "Tsk," which means there's a motion that you can't see on the podcast here, but I'm using the TV remote to pause it. And so when she goes, "Tsk," that means I'm supposed to pause it because she's got something to say, or I'll just pause it and have something to say as well.
Oh, but that indicates too that you are the keeper of the remotes.
Because you keep handing it to me. And I lose it. I keep losing it.
I know, it's usually under your butt.
Under my butt. Yeah, because a lot of times we'll be laying in bed. And it's amazing how many things end up under my butt. So I know that sounds gross, but but things like my reading glasses or my phone, I'll set them down at my side, and invariably I can't find them. And invariably they've made their way under my butt.
Yeah.
So now, if
It's a good
anything's
trick.
missing, there you go.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
but these conversations that we have are usually commentary about what we're watching, or we'll just have a random thought sometime.
There's so many random thoughts.
But we'll spend so much time talking that it'll be ready for us to go to sleep, and we won't even gotten 3 minutes past the start of the show.
But what is so awesome in that is that as a man, you're okay with that.
I'm totally okay with that.
Most men would not be. It's just like, shh.
Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know about most men. I've never felt like the typical guy.
No, I've always felt kind of like I'm on the outside looking in. I've never felt like I quite belonged.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think I've felt that too.
I'm just not like most people. And you wouldn't maybe know this by listening to this right now, but I am a very shy person. I'm quiet. I'm a listener. But that's okay. I'm really getting okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very funny and ironic that you refer to me as the talker in the relationship.
I know.
Because I'm not.
Neither
this
one
is
of us
this is
are.
unlike me as well.
Yeah, but together,
Look out.
it's nonstop.
Yeah, we're like nonstop.
Yeah.
But it's great, and I love it. So, again, we hope to carry this through with the podcast. So, you never know. You never know what you're going to get with us. So,
You don't.
hang on for the ride. Is all I
Right.
can say.
And so I've got a quote. If we're near the end, I have a quote.
We're not even close to the end, but
Oh.
bring the quote on anyway.
Okay, because because we're different from most people. I think
Yeah.
we just think and feel very differently.
Yeah.
And so I found this really cool quote that made me feel great about being different. And I think it would probably make my children feel good too because they're the same. Blessed are the gypsies, the makers of music, the artists, writers, dreamers of dreams, wanderers and vagabonds, children and misfits, for they teach us to see the world through beautiful eyes.
I like that.
I do too.
That's really cool. One of the people that I thought about as you were reading that was my sister. One of my sisters. I have 3 sisters, and the one in particular is an artist, and she makes beautiful things. And
Yes, she does.
she gets me to think outside the box. with her thinking, which I think is great.
That is what people like us do.
Right.
We don't stay inside the lines when we color, and we think outside the box all the time.
Yep. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. But we got to try. So, so we were going to talk about something else, kind of food related, on this episode as well.
Right.
And it's a throwback to when we first met. And there's a lot that was going on in the world, let alone in our own lives at the time. It was in the midst of COVID.
Yep.
And we met and we connected real solidly, and we can go into more detail down the road here about that.
Yeah,
that
we
whole
were
experience.
200 miles away from each other.
A little more than 200. It takes about a 4.5-hour drive to make the distance.
Yeah.
And so we had to make a choice eventually about whether this relationship was worth one of us moving. Obviously, and the fact that we're sitting in the same room together here almost 2 years later.
It's surreal.
It's surreal or so real.
Oh, both.
Both, right? Right.
Yeah.
So, but one of the first things that we shared together was a meal around a hot dog. One of the first visits that we had, visits, I sound, so like my mom when I say, we had a nice visit.
We had a date.
We had a date, and as part of this date, we took a walk around a lake. There was a walking trail around. It was a beautiful lake, and it's one that I spend a lot of time at. And there was a concession stand, or is a concession stand there, and we stopped, and I said, would you like something? Should we get something to nibble on? And
nibble.
Know.
Nibble is a word to him.
Yes, because I was feeling quite peckish at the time.
Peckish too.
Yes, when you're peckish, you have to nibble and guzzle. So we went up to the what the hell is that called? The concession stand.
Concession stand.
Oh, good
yes.
Lord. I crack myself up sometimes.
Brain fart.
Yes, definitely. And I said, "What would you like? Would you like some popcorn, soda?" You said, "Oh, they have hot dogs. Can we get a hot dog?" I said, "Well, yeah." And that right there enamored me, because I don't know this, but it seems like most women or most girls will not overindulge in the food on dates because they want to seem, I don't know, and they let the man eating stuff.
I'm not like that.
No, I know, and that was great. And so we sat by this lake and we ate our hot dogs, and I just noticed you looking around and really enjoying it, and I was smitten.
Oh, you were smitten?
I was smitten. Yeah, after I got over the peckishness and got something to nibble on, I was smitten.
Oh.
But anyway, we had a conversation about hot dogs, and you told me that, this was a good hot dog and all, but
I can find better.
You can find better. And so we had a long conversation about what was better.
Costco hot dogs rock.
And I had never had one, but you introduced me.
Yes, I did. And we ate hot dogs at Costco together.
We did, and they were very good.
And so it was on your mind a lot that I liked hot dogs. Now, I don't eat hot dogs that much. Honestly, I'm a pretty healthy eater. And I could eat a hot dog at a baseball game and have a beer and just have so much fun. But then I could also go to the theater and see something on Broadway and go to a great meal and whatever.
Absolutely.
And so that's who I am. I love to experience all things. and so, yeah, I love Costco hot dogs. Have them once in a while. They're like no other hot dog. Nothing in my mind can beat a Costco hot dog.
They're a very large hot dog. They're not quite footlongs.
Yeah.
They're about
8 inches. I hate saying that.
Why do you laugh when you say that?
I don't know. But the hot dog hangs out of the bun on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yep. Yep. And they are very tasty.
Uh-huh. They're
We've
very
had
good.
several of them since then.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that then you add hot dogs on your mind, like, oh, she likes hot dogs, so we're going to the mall,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get her a hot dog.
Yeah.
And so we went and we're looking around, and I didn't know that that's what the plan was, but you kept saying, "Oh, they have hot dogs over here. Oh, they have this. Oh, there's the Dairy Queen. They have hot dogs.
Well, they had a
Let's
great
go
big
get."
great big sign with the picture of a hot dog right there.
Yeah,
And I thought, well, okay.
that was not a hot dog.
Let me interject here that this is before I experienced a Costco hot dog.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
okay. I thought the opposite. I thought you'd already experienced it.
No, I hadn't,
Oh.
and so in my mind I was thinking, well, we'll find a really good hot dog
Mm-hmm.
somewhere here.
No, we won't.
No, no question about it. No,
You brought me over to the Dairy Queen area.
Yeah, the stand. Yeah,
Stand at the mall.
a concession
You said-
stand.
yes.
No, it wasn't a concession stand, but
The
anyway,
business.
yes.
Anyway, you pointed and you said, "Look, they have hot dogs," and I said, "Look, that is not a hot dog.
But it was.
No, it's a wiener." There's a difference.
Please elaborate. What is the difference between a
Well,
wiener and a hot dog?
A wiener is like the Oscar Mayer song.
Okay.
It's smaller. It just fits the bun. You know, it doesn't do much more. It doesn't have a lot of character.
Okay, I can buy that.
And so finally, after a few suggestions, I just said, "Chad, you don't understand."
Yes, you stopped me in the walkway in the mall and you just turned me towards you. You said, "Chad, you don't understand."
And then I had to explain the hot dog thing versus the wiener. Hot dog versus wiener.
And ultimately, I had a Costco hot dog, so now I understand.
Yes, you do.
In a big way, in an 8-inch way, I understand.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that's one of the things that was one of our first experiences together, really.
It was.
Because
yeah.
we were dating 200 plus miles away from each other. So
Yeah,
just one of the experiences, and it was fun.
it was great,
Mm-hmm.
and we had more fun in the mall
So,
because of where we ended up.
yeah.
It was a place called Margaritaville,
Mm-hmm.
a Jimmy Buffett themed kind of a place.
Yeah.
And we went in and we had coconut shrimp
And French fries.
and French fries, which
So,
was a
when
very
they brought it to us,
Yeah.
it was like it looked like the most unhealthy meal you could possibly have because it's really all white on
and
your plate.
and your point is,
Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it just looked weird,
yeah, it did. It was a very
bland
white meal.
looking, but it was delicious. I loved it.
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I-
we shut the place down.
we did. I had a couple glasses of wine.
That's not why we shut the place down, though. So don't. We were just having so much fun talking.
Yeah,
We didn't realize that everybody else had gotten up and left.
I know.
And then the wait staff came up to us and said, "Can I clear your things away?" And, "Oh, by the way, we've closed this area here. Our bar is open downstairs if you want to join us, but you're welcome to sit for a while if you want."
I didn't understand it like that.
Well, and maybe I was just a little antsy, but I kind of felt like maybe they want us to leave because they want to clean the place or something like that. So we stayed a little bit longer,
Mm-hmm.
and then we left, and the door was half closed, and there was a little chain out in front of the door that says to people trying to get in, "Sorry, we're closed at the moment." So
Mm-hmm.
we danced around that, and we went down the hall. We were laughing, we were goofing, we were having fun
We're having so much fun.
until
Well, I was still having fun even
Well,
during.
we were. You were
Because
actually. You
I
were laughing
was.
through the whole thing.
I know, and I can't even remember everything that we were laughing about.
Yeah, I
But
don't either.
sometimes if I get the giggles, I can't stop.
Yeah.
And I was to the point where my stomach even hurt because I couldn't stop laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And I shuffled my way
Yes, you
slowly
did.
over to the banister and held on to that.
So I want to give listeners a little visual here.
Oh
And,
no.
think about an elementary school kid, maybe 5 or 6, that really has to use the restroom bad, and they do a little potty dance. It's
Oh,
you weren't
no.
quite like that,
No,
but
I
you were
wasn't.
you were doing the gotta wee shuffle. Gotta go wee wee.
God. And we had an audience. Luckily, it was just 3 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me a while to gain my composure so that I could uncross my legs to walk
So we could actually
To-
make it back to,
to
the
the car.
car.
to
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was fun.
it was so fun. And I think just about everything with you has been an adventure for me. And I am so happy in life right now.
That's good. I feel the same way. And I hope that this adventure continues, and part of it continues through this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll progress and see where it takes us. I think that's what I like, is that, like Forrest Gump in the box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see where we go with this.
I think so too. I'm excited, and I just hope that anybody who's listening to this first podcast today
Yeah.
wants to listen to more, because we have some cool stories to tell.
Yes, we do. Yes. And we've got a website that you'll be able to pick up the podcast on with more information where to get that. We'll be out on Facebook and then other social media as we build this effort up. We're starting out with getting the podcast published and whatnot, and then we'll see.
We have some blogs.
And yeah, we're going to
that
be
we're-
doing some blogs too.
Mhm.
And our website is a little bit different. Instead of a .com or a .org, we have .live, Live, and it's just and there you go .live.
Mhm.
So you can pick up the podcast there, or you can pick up the podcast on Podbean, is the podcast host. And we're working towards getting the podcast out on other directories as well. But for right now, we're just taking baby steps and
Yep.
having
And you can. We did create a Facebook page
yes, we
that
did
we're working on, and so you can go to that. It's just in there. You go.
see some
search it,
pictures
and yeah.
and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so very exciting, and just a labor of love, I think, is how I'm looking at it. This is just something that is something that you and I can do together, and something that we both enjoy, and hopefully, again, what we have to say will help somebody, or at least maybe entertain somebody, because we're we're both just human.
We're goofs.
Yes, yes. So
It is a labor of love, and part of it is because we fell in love, right?
well said.
Yeah.
And really, I think it is, because this is just a natural extension of our relationship and how we communicate with each other, how we interact with each other, how we connect with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels good.
It does. I'm so excited. Can't wait.
So I have a question to ask. Do you have another quote for us to take us out of this episode,
I do.
as we dance out of this episode?
It's about love.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
Love doesn't fix us, and it's not supposed to. Love is a motivator. Love should inspire us to do better, to be better. But humans are creatures of habit, and even in the best situations, breaking habits takes time. It takes effort. It takes commitment to growth. And all the love in the world won't make someone grow who is dead set on remaining the same. And neither one of us is dead set on remaining the same.
Oh, no.
We are in constant growth.
Whether we choose to, or we're kind of moved towards that by certain things in our
Certainly.
lives.
Everybody is.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And there you go.
And there you go.